Button Hut. After a little bit of a halftime show, hopefully you all took a moment to enjoy a refreshment, perhaps a mint julep of sorts, as I have. I've actually drank more of it now, considering that we need to get a win, and that win hopefully will be coming sometime very soon. In fact, the Derby just 3 hours away, the 146th running of the Kentucky Derby, the Run for the Roses, the chance of a lifetime, the lifetime of chance. And it's all about hashtag My Authentic Derby. I want to welcome back in the lovely Hannah Bloom and Joe Moran. Now, Joe Moran has transitioned from the confines of the office, and you can hear the echoes of the grandstand. Ladies and gentlemen, Hannah, Joe,
Hello.
how are you doing?
Welcome
We're
back.
good, getting closer and closer, and I love this live look from Churchill Downs with Joe Moran. He's got his authentic mask on, looking good.
Yep, thank you. I appreciate that.
All right, Joe. I think the objective is to stay cool and stay refreshed. And I know that there's going to be plenty of refreshments for you right there at Churchill Downs. I'm sure that a cocktail of your choice wouldn't be a bad thing, I would say. And Hannah will certainly keep an eye on the social media aspect. But
yes,
as we work our way back in, just within that 3-hour time frame for the Kentucky Derby, let's kick things off with a look back at Derby. All right. So as we look back,
I was gonna say, in the meantime, at least, I want to thank everyone for using the hashtag so much. It has been great to see. So here we go. I think we got the video up.
Everything went very smooth with Authentics shipping. Arrived yesterday afternoon, went out on the track this morning for a nice easy stretch of the legs, just jogged once around, very relaxed, taking everything in, walked back to the barn very, very calmly. Seems to be handling everything really well. Authentic drawn the 18 hole. We expect him to go to the front and beyond or near the face. There's always so much bumping in the Derby that a good post can turn into a bad post, vice versa. So if he's good enough, he'll find a way to get it done. And that's a big part of things here at the Derby. So far, so good.
Authentic, he shipped really well. Sometimes he can get a little bit antsy when he gets here, but he's fine. I think the trip to Haskell really mellowed him out a little bit. He's matured so much since the last few months that I really feel great about the way he's coming in the race. The draw wasn't really ideal. I was hoping to be like in the middle somewhere. With this new starting gate, they're actually going to be closer together. I think there's going to be probably more bumping going on earlier in the race if you're in the middle. He's out of harm's way. He drew the outside as Henry to Derby. He broke out.
Authentic on the far outside. Authentic makes his move.
When you have a speed horse like Authentic, the break is important that he breaks straight, doesn't veer out and lose that ground leaving there. Since the Haskell, Authentic has just improved immensely. And he needs to move it up another notch. 'Tis the law. He is the heavy favorite. I think we've closed the gap, so I expect a big run.
I think my racehorse, it was a great idea, especially for a horse like this. I've seen so many people spend millions and millions of dollars that can't get to the Derby. And for just a small amount,
You have a Derby horse, you get excited. He's going to have a huge rooting. Believe me, there's thousands and thousands. Everybody's telling me, hey, how's the horse doing? Checking up on him. So far, it's been a lot of fun.
Well, indeed, it has been an incredible journey. And as we talked about this being a Kentucky Derby of none other, in the sense that generally and usually slated on the first Saturday in May for these 3-year-olds, obviously a race that was pushed back 4 months in light of the COVID-19 pandemic. It has certainly thrown the year off kilter, but, in the end, result for a May foal. And it appears as if this son of Into Mischief is maturing. And Hannah, I know that you've had ample opportunity to kind of interact with the fans and even part owners in Authentic. And what has been the overall vibe with the journey thus far?
Oh man, it's just overall excitement, I guess I'm at a loss for words, just the support on social media and, on the updates and the Facebook groups that we have. All the owners are so excited, and even if they're not an owner on Authentic and they have other My Race horses, they're just so supportive and excited to be here at the Derby.
Joe, I know you're in the heat of action over there, and I realize they're coming up to post here for, I believe it's the Iroquois there for the 3-year-olds. So you had an opportunity as we reflect on Vertical Threat. I know we're all disappointed and anticipated a better effort coming off of 2 straight victories, including a stakes win at Del Mar. It was the first time he ever ventured out of state for a race. He's a young 3-year-old and one that's certainly on the improve. You had an opportunity to catch up with Tyler Gaffalione. What was his take?
Yeah, he obviously said he thinks his horse is still very, very talented. He broke very sharp. I know one of the big things when I was talking to Amy DeLossie and Tyler Gaffalione, they would have wished they could have been on the outside of the trip instead of being on the inside pressure, but that's the way the draw works. But, he was happy. He just said the biggest thing was he got tired down the lane. And he could tell after the race he was blowing a little hard. And the other thing you have to consider, he really wasn't beaten that much in the end. And this was a tough task to go against, going a mile for the first time, even though it was a 1-turn mile. You're facing against the top-end competition. These horses there were some grade 1 caliber horses in this, and it was going in the deep end. So I think that has to be considered.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. And the fact that not only uncharted waters by way of the ship, the fact that he was going a mile for the first time. Now, mind you, it was an elongated sprint, but at a flat mile, which, again, you throw in 2 equations, not to mention the fact it was his first graded stakes attempt. There's a lot that goes into that. And, the mental aspect, I do want to give credit to Richard Baltus and his assistant, Amy DeLossie. They did a fine job bringing this horse to the races today. And I did have an opportunity to speak with Nick Casado, our partner in Slam Dunk Racing. And, again, all a bit disappointed. A couple of different takes. As Tyler was taking a hold, it looked as if he was lugging out just a little bit. Could have been fighting the track somewhat. And that surface, far and away different. The first dirt surface outside of what he had seen here in Southern California. So the good news is Tyler said he felt good, and he feels that there's certainly potential. Am I right, Joe?
Yes, absolutely. Sorry, I muted my mic just as the race was going off. But, yeah, he said he felt good, and he just said that distance got to him. And it's a long stretch. He said to take that into consideration. It's a long stretch for him, but he tried the whole way.
All right, Joe. Thank you. You can take that time out for the running of the Iroquois. I want to get back to Hannah as Steve Latuda messaging in for this only being Vertical Threat's 4th race. I'll take this effort and what we will learn from it. Hannah,
I like that attitude.
Being a college graduate yourself, I graduated college, whether you believe it or not. But it's the process, right? I mean, it's the step process, and just it's not easy for a young horse to ship out of town. New surface, new distance, new rider. A lot of intangibles are being thrown his way.
Exactly.
So we're going to try and bring Joe back in. Were there any questions for the folks out there, or any thoughts?
There's this question from Greg Peterson. So when Authentic wins, will the shared empire that is My Racer set a Guinness World Record for owners of a Kentucky Derby winner? I love this question.
I think, Joe, you heard the question?
Yeah. I got the question. I'm reading it again just so I can make sure I give the best answer here.
Well, I can go ahead and answer it for you.
Yeah, let's do it.
The question was, if Authentic were to win the Kentucky Derby, would this be the largest ownership group in a Kentucky Derby winner?
Oh, it has to be. I mean,
That's a slam dunk.
I don't know.
No questions asked. Yeah, I love that question. We're emailing the Guinness World Record people like right now. Don't worry.
You know, it is incredible. You know, when you look at Kentucky Derby ownership, for example, and you go back through the years, you know, you see the likes of Calumet, you see the likes of Sunny Blue Farm, the Meadow Stable, Hancock and Partners, the Thoroughbred Corp, Windstar Farm, J. Paul Red. And then as it evolves into 2017, Always Dreaming, Justify, Country House, all of a sudden you have these big ownership groups. But far and away, my racehorse will take a large stage with the Starlight, Mataket, Spendthrift, and it'll be a party like none other. So I just wanted to remind you, and a special salute to the lovely Shona for all the work and the Grand Slam Social, and a salute of the tip of the cap to Hannah as well, and Molly behind the scenes. But
yeah, I'm loving this nickname Shona came up with. She said it was so much fun to watch Vertical Threat on NBC. She nicknamed him Verdi. I kind of like it. It kind of has a sort of ring to it. I don't know how you feel about it with that.
It could be catchy. It could be catchy.
It could be. Yeah, we'll try it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's certainly an opportunity for him to rebound Vertical Threat. And I wanted to touch on Wayne O, Joe Moran. Tyler Gaffleone piloted him as well. Did you get an opportunity to kind of hear his take on Wayne O's comeback attempt at 7/8 of a mile?
Yeah, and it was kind of simple. He thought, it was a first start back. It was a good starting point for him coming back at 7/8. It was asking a lot, but Steve thought he was training as good as he could have been, and he wanted to run him while he was feeling good, and you got to respect Steve for that. But he got a little tired at the end. He was on his wrong lead down the stretch. But it's a starting point. I think we'll build off from there.
All right, and as we are getting closer, of course, to Derby time with Authentic, and just a reminder, hashtag all authentic Derby. Am I saying that right? Or
my authentic Derby.
Yes, my. Can't forget my. I wanted
maybe too many mint juleps so far.
Yeah.
Well, I'm literally down to my last drop.
Oh no, need a refill.
As the Vertical Threat race was running, I kept.
It just kept tipping back. No worries. Yeah, but please, again.
Go ahead.
No, keep going. Sorry.
Authentic is currently 9-1, and I think that is a tremendous value on the board. Go ahead, Hannah.
Oh no, I was just gonna nail in again about the My Authentic Derby. Here you can see so many people have been using it all day. A lot of the fun GIF usage I've seen on Instagram. So just please keep tagging us and adding us and all the things in the hashtag.
Yeah, it is certainly all things authentic, My Authentic Derby. And this is certainly, one of a kind. And, Joe, tell us about the atmosphere there at Churchill. I know it's far and away different. Have you been to a Kentucky Derby ever in your life?
No, this is my first Derby, so it's weird. I was talking to Robbie Alvarado and Paige Alvarado, and I kind of compared it almost to Pacific Classic Day at Del Mar when I attended. Even though when I pulled up in the parking lot, I remember I texted you that day and I said, oh, wow, looks like there's a lot of people here. But it still had that feel when you walk up. It's quiet. It's empty. It still doesn't feel the same. To me, it's my first Derby. It still doesn't quite feel like the atmosphere of Derby. When you see pictures and videos, you see all these people. You don't quite get that, but you can tell all the people here every race, the excitement's there. I'll say that. I mean, everyone's cheering on their horse coming down the stretch. It's kind of cool that you can hear really everything so live from the jockeys. The horse is really hitting the ground. So from that aspect, it's pretty cool.
All right, Lisa Ulwick, welcome back. It's nice to know that you've stayed with us throughout the day. But speaking of Lisa Ulwick, Susan Ward out there in my racehorse land, and I don't know if it's a good thing, but Ice Cold Dave Weaver picked Authentic to win. Scott Hazelton did, but, I know he's a home team favorite. But Hannah, we've talked about the content, sending it in for the Kentucky Derby, the hashtag My Authentic Derby. Tell us what the people can win and what's at stake.
Yeah, of course. So I guess I'll go into a little more detail about using the hashtag if you post on Twitter, Instagram, even Facebook, but predominantly Twitter. you have a chance to win an authentic horseshoe, exclusive signed photo, and Johnny V's goggles. So those are some pretty great perks for using the hashtag. And what you can post is a photo of your scene, of where you're at, a photo of yourself, a selfie, or of your group, and still video yourself watching these horses run today. And so many perks to doing so, and also just being part of the experience. We want to see it all.
Well, there it is. And I can just tell you that the amount of swag that is certainly available from My Racehorse is top of the line. They don't pull any punches. And I noticed, Joe, you got that authentic mask.
I love it.
You poured it well, but how did you get that? Was Joe Mishak feeling friendly?
Well, Michael Barron's actually, we had all the ones that said My Racehorse across it. And I saw he had an extra one with the authentic logo, so I had to snag it for this race today. I thought it was too good to not. I've got a lot of compliments already on it, I got to say. And I think this whole experience has been pretty cool here, of just seeing all the supporters of My Racehorse throughout Kentucky. From the time we hit the hotel, I think we ran into 3 or 4 different shareholders of My Racehorse at the hotel. When we parked our car in the infield, one of the guys that was navigating parking, he started pointing at his chest, and I'm like, uh-oh, what am I doing wrong? And he had an authentic pin. Wow. And when I got out, he's like, I have 3 shares. And I just thought it was, this is what it's all about. Getting all these people that are involved in the game, getting into ownership. I mean, you can't beat it today.
Well, that was the whole thought process, in Mike Barron's vision. And I remember a conversation that Mike had told me about that he had with Mr. B. Wayne Hughes, a spendthrift. And it was in regards to a trip that Wayne had taken down to Australia. And he remembers getting a taxi and getting in the taxi, and the taxi cab driver was telling him a story about a horse that he owned a part of and owned a share of, in a similar sense that he owned a micro share, if you will, and had an opportunity to be part of something that is just tremendous and such a wonderful opportunity. So that's the idea, to give you, the fan, an opportunity not only to become a shareholder, be part of a big experience like the Run for the Roses, the greatest 2 minutes in sports, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, but to be part of something great. And I can frankly say that, from my journey thus far, dreams have been realized. So, hopefully your dream will become that reality. If you haven't invested in Authentic, but you potentially want to become that shareholder, we'll remind you on where to go. But the easiest way to do it is go to myracehorse.com. Hannah, they're rolling in.
They're rolling in. And Jamie Owens-Smith has a good question. I know trainer Bob Baffert touched on this in his interview, but any concerns about the new gate or a different strategy at the start?
Joe?
Yeah, so, his only concern, and I think it's more of a benefit for us on the outside post, is, he wished we would have been a little bit more in the middle of the pack. But with this new gate, the horses are actually a lot closer together, which, could cause a lot more bumping. So being on the outside could give us an advantage in that standpoint.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. And I think that the other advantage of being on the outside is that virtually the entire field's going to know who's out there. And I kind of, like as I was saying earlier in the first show today, I do feel that Authentic has somewhat of a target on his back because he is the go-to speed horse. And I think it'll actually work in our favor. The one particular horse is the X Factor, is your favorite. He's 4-5, 'tis the law. And Manny Franco, I think he's going to be the one that takes it to Authentic first. Now, I'm not saying that there isn't and aren't any other speed horses in this race, but I think at the end of the day, that's going to be the mid-race threat that you have to look out for. Because I think Mike Smith, as I said earlier, he's going to take the patience approach. All right, Hannah, as we remind the folks, hashtag #MyAuthenticDerby. Be sure to go to myracehorse.com and check things out. And obviously, if you were to win the contest and there's a particular swag item that you want, be sure to send a note with it. So
please, all the content.
Yes, all of it. Everything.
All of it. We want all of it.
Yeah, so video, selfies, whatever it takes, right?
yeah, whatever you want to take, send us a selfie, send us a photo of your whole group, a video of your whole group. We want to see your setup, want to see your swag. Like I said, all of it. We want to see all of it. And there's a perk. You get to win all these great things. You have a chance to win all these great things with using the hashtag.
All right.
Yeah.
Tremendous. And Joe Moran, wow.
Here's a
what we
look.
have here.
Yeah, here's a look at someone's shown a Rotunda who we talked about earlier. This is her setup in her backyard. They're having a whole My Authentic Derby party, and she's got her hat out. We love to see it, so keep showing us how your Derby is setting up as well.
Yeah, and if I can tune in, I think one great thing I've seen a lot of people do in the past is even just setting up your phone camera when the race is going off, filming your group. It's super easy. You don't even have to be on your phone. You can just have it pre-recorded the whole time, and
Yep.
you get some great footage that way, and it really gets that raw emotion. If people had the camera on me, if Authentic has the lead going down the stretch, I don't know. I hope I'm not on camera, but it'll be excitement. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, look, a pool party while watching the Derby.
Yep.
Not how we thought the Derby would go this year, but why not? That looks so fun. So we'd love to see it.
Especially in certain areas. I know that we got a heat wave out here on the left coast, and
It's a little hot out here.
Yeah, they mentioned like a power surge or whatnot, but let's hope it doesn't happen during the show. I'd also like to, give some credit. These features that you've seen have actually been greatly assisted and done by Megan Devine. I'm sure you've seen her on TVG and her company VidHorse. She has done a tremendous job. Not an easy thing to do, and especially with all the security terms and stuff that are going in. So a thank you and a salute to Megan and her company, and of course our friend Mackenzie, as I had also given tribute to Grand Slam Social, who make this show tremendously possible. I wanted to take a quick look at the odds, if we could, and I think we're going to pull that up. And the current odds, last check, Authentic is 8-1. So,
All right.
Joe Moran, are you surprised that Tiz the Law was at 6-5, and do you see him going off at 3-5 when it's all said and done? And is there any value in that?
Personally, I don't think there's any value because underneath, I guess, well, when we get to our handicapping later, I did throw a couple long shots underneath, trying to create value. But keying Tiz the Law, you really have to get a big price underneath, or I don't think there's any value in it. Do I think he's worth 3-5? No. Should he be 6-5? Yes, he deserves that. He has that right. He's the proven horse. He's won at the distance. He deserves to be the horse to beat. But, for example, you look at Swiss Skydiver yesterday. He's a seasoned horse, just like she was, but he's had a long journey. He's went through all the battles already. So could this be the day someone takes him over? Possibly.
It's interesting when you look at Derby favorites, the shortest price Derby favorites that were defeated in Christmas past. You have to take the calendar all the way back to Bimelech back in 1940, who was defeated at 40 cents on the dollar. And Honest Pleasure, many felt that a horse that came in with a 9-race winning streak back in 1976 was virtually unbeatable. But Honest Pleasure was beat on the square. And it was Bold Forbes who won it that particular year under Angel Cordero Jr. So other favorites, you think of the likes of Brevity, Olympia, taking it way back. But in recent times, favorites who have delivered, California Chrome comes to mind, and they won Fusaichi Pegasus. So it's interesting because when you have that conversation with numerous people, let's say 10, at least 9 are going to say that Tiz the Law as their selection. So it's interesting, Joe, you talk about value. Some people see value as odds. Some people value as the surest shot to win and can build some sort of a ticket around it.
Yep. I can't disagree with that. And if you're going to play a Trier Super and key him on top, I get it. I think it's a stretch sometimes reaching for some horses underneath.
All right. Well, you may have been with us earlier when we touched on standing a stallion. And, of course, this year, an exciting day is the beginning for Authentic. If you go back, when his racing career ends, this is one of those where they're born and essentially it's a fast forward. But when his racing career ends, he'll go on to stand as a stallion at Spendthrift Farm. So what does that look like? I know many of you are curious. Let's take a closer look.
Stallions such as Nashua, and Triple Crown champions Seattle Slew and Affirmed influenced the breed through their years of stud duty at Spendthrift. Current owner B. Wayne Hughes began establishing his vision of Spendthrift in 2004 and has created a stallion marketplace that has something for everyone, led by America's #1 general sire of 2019, Into Mischief.
We've been here for 16 years. We started from scratch. Mr. Hughes had about 40 brood mares at the time. We started off with one $5,000 stallion, a horse named Teton Forest that Mr. Hughes raced. And we've evolved to having one of the largest stallion rosters in North America, standing the leading stallion in North America and Into Mischief, and expanding into Australia and even some activities in South America as well.
How are the different personalities of these stallions when it comes to the breeding process? Are some, how do you phrase this, more into it than others?
Most of the best stallions that I've seen are also very good breeders, and Into Mischief definitely falls into that category. He's probably the best breeding stallion that I've ever been around. And I think the things that go into making up that are that he has tremendous libido. So he is always ready to go. You put a mare in front of him and he's ready to breed. He has tremendous fertility. So he's very efficient. He's very easy on himself. He goes into the breeding shed. He mounts the mare one time in just a few minutes and breeds her. And that's the end of it.
And it has to, in the thoroughbred world, be a live cover, right?
The thoroughbred industry still has the only registry that requires live cover. All other breeds use artificial insemination. Thoroughbreds are live cover. That stallion has to physically breed the mare.
On average, how many mares would a particular stallion cover in one day?
A stallion on a given day may breed as many as 4 times. So our morning breeding session is at 7 a.m. We'll come back at 2 p.m., 6:30 p.m., and 10 p.m. if we need to.
And you hear the term teaser stallion mentioned. What is that process like? What are their responsibilities?
How graphic do you want me to get here? A teaser on a thoroughbred farm has basically the world's worst job description. The teaser is used, he is a male horse who is used to gauge how receptive a mare may be to breeding the stallion. And he really is a really important line of defense for the stallion and for the mare as well. So it's very important that mare shows that she is going to be receptive to being bred. So if she is receptive, then that mare goes right in and gets bred by our thoroughbred stallion. If not, we've got a little bit more work to do to determine whether or not she's going to be receptive. But it's a very frustrating job being a teaser on a thoroughbred farm.
Does he ever get a chance?
He occasionally gets a shot. We'll occasionally have nurse mares on the farm, and they'll get a chance to breed those mares. It's always a good day for those guys when they get to breed a nurse mare.
Each year, stallion farms worldwide are constantly combing the racing landscape to find the next thoroughbred racehorse that fits what their customers want. And there is no doubt at Spendthrift Farm, their customers can't get enough of their stallion Into Mischief, whose runners have earned over $71 million and counting. Enter into the picture Grade 1 winner Authentic, a son of Into Mischief. How important is it in the fact that Authentic, when he wraps up his racing career, that he will be joining his stallion Into Mischief here at Spendthrift Farm?
It's a big factor for us. Obviously, Into Mischief has gotten off to a great start at stud. He's establishing himself, we feel like, as a sire of sires. And so Authentic, as a really, really talented, precocious, potentially classic horse, was just a natural fit for us. I think the speed is a huge factor in it. Into Mischief obviously was loaded with speed. Authentic is too, and he's showing the ability to stretch out a little bit as well. The selling points are that he is a son of Into Mischief, that he is a gorgeous looking animal, very correct, very athletic looking, and that he's a horse that's got a little bit more stretch. Into Mischief is kind of a compact, little racier type of horse. This horse has a little bit more length to him and a little bit more classic look. And I think that's something that people are wanting to see out of Into Mischief is this more classic type. And as Into Mischief is getting these better and better mares, as his stud fee goes up, he's showing that he can get that type of a horse, and we think Authentic represents just that. I think people getting the opportunity to be involved firsthand in a racehorse like Authentic is something new and exciting for people, and even newer and less familiar and maybe even more exciting is the idea of being involved in a horse like Authentic as a stallion prospect. He has so much potential in that area. Any stallion can be a tremendous success or a tremendous failure, but it's a great ride, and I think people will really enjoy being involved in that process. It's great to look forward to seeing those offspring, those first foals when they're born, and that begins to give you your first glimpse of what kind of success this horse may have.
That's certainly a great conversation having between both Scott and Ned Toffee of Spendthrift Farm, and there's so much that goes into the whole process. But between the teaser stallion, the nurse mare, the key stallion, the blue hen mare, I think I know on what side of the spectrum I would want to be on. I'd hate to be that guy that just do my job, okay? You take over, big guy. It's almost like the backup to Tom Brady, right? But I guess somebody's got to do it.
Someone's got to do it.
Someone's got to do it. Hannah, I just had an opportunity to scroll through the My Racehorse chain, and Casey, she, her, hers, with that Authentic Derby setup, hashtag My Authentic Derby, I think is phenomenal. And then there was another one here, a couple others actually that I thought were very good. There was
someone painted their own Authentic too. I mean, some of the stuff has just been, there it is. They look like they painted on the My Racehorse. That's amazing. So this is the stuff we want to see. It's amazing. Keep using that hashtag. There's perks to using this hashtag.
I love that.
Yeah, I know. How cute is that? We want
what it's all about. I can imagine it would be interesting when you do hashtag My Authentic Derby. I would really like it. I would love it. In fact, if you could tell us where you are, which state, what city. Obviously, we've seen some posts that have shown us where they might be. They might be near a pool swimming, or at their granddaughter's 4th birthday party. Tom Hoskins, he sent out a nice kind of a retweet on Emily Shields, who had put up a post of the photo of those silks earlier today with Wayne O. Also, I did get a text from Richard Baltus, the trainer of Vertical Threat. He reports that the horse came back healthy. Two things. Not entirely convinced that he wants to go the mile, at least at this point, but also mentioned the speed hasn't necessarily been holding today. So thinking about that, obviously looking ahead to Authentic, let's hope that trend changes.
Yep.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Definitely. I wanted to point out James Hamill, this comment he posted. My dad is 80 and fighting cancer. I got him some shares in Authentic, and he's super excited for the Derby, willing him home from New Zealand. So sending our best wishes and thoughts towards James Hamill and his dad. Love to hear that you guys have Authentic to root for today.
Yeah. James, on behalf of myself, my family, and all of us, of course, team My Racehorse, we are sending our best wishes and prayers for what is a very difficult time for your father. New Zealand is a beautiful place for recovery, and we will we'll pray hard, and hopefully a victory today with Authentic will help cure that. And certainly winning can do magical things in the grand scheme of things. So James, salute to you and your dad. And I'm sure that your dad's been a longtime fan and in the sport, because I know, Hannah, you were born into it. Joe Moran, you were born into it. I born into it, and here we are. And again, that's the idea of the Authentic process here, because this is about you, the fan. This is about you, the shareholder. Making those dreams reality. It's almost in a sense surreal. Joe Moran, he sets off out to Churchill Downs. He talked about it's a little eerie. It's almost kind of like being in a dream, but the truth of it all, it's reality, Joe. And it actually might be a blessing that you're not distracted by the crowd, because you know what? You can take
Yeah, yeah, no doubt. It's really it's a cool experience too, just because I mean, even like the paddock on a day like this, you think of the Breeders' Cup, it's so hard to see aspects of that and really see the horses up close. So you really do get to take it all in with no crowd like this.
All right, from earlier today, as we saw on the first show, Jockey's perspective is always an interesting take. And Hannah, your dad, who is a former jockey himself and a racing manager, owner, I'm sure he's told you a lot of stories through the years, but the planning and preparation that goes into a day like this, and we talk about a Hall of Fame rider who has won, I believe, 9 Triple Crown races, 2 Kentucky Derbies. Well, Scott Hazelton of TVG caught up with Johnny Velez for some insight and some of those perspectives on racing on a day like this.
One of the best in the game and a 2-time Kentucky Derby winning rider. That's Johnny Velazquez. Johnny, Authentic is your opportunity this year to pick up a 3rd win in the Run for the Roses. You've never ridden him, so how do you prepare for a horse that you've never ridden in arguably the biggest stage in racing?
I don't know if you know that I never rode Animal Kingdom before I won the Kentucky Derby. It's about watching their races, watching how the horses perform and what the competition is. So it's basically a lot of homework and see the competition where you are. I watch the works how they're doing and follow up a little bit of instructions when you talk to the trainer. Obviously, we'll talk to Bob and see what he wants to do in the race. We'll see. What the competition look like, or see how much speed in the race will be, and we go through all those processes, and make a decision once the doors open.
You've had a chance to compete against Tiz the Law. He's going to be the one to beat in this race. I think that's pretty safe to say. What is it going to take to put Tiz the Law and Manny Franco in an uncomfortable position and spring an upset with a Grade 1 winner that you're riding in Authentic?
Well, obviously the two opposites they're not opposites, but 2 different ways of riding the horses too. But, my horse seems like it's going to be totally placed, although I think Tiz the Law can do the same thing, but they're normally taken off the pace a little bit, and also going to depend on how much speed we're going to have in the race, and we go from there. I mean, obviously it's going to be a full field. Depends how you break from the gate, what kind of position you get from there. And how uncomfortable somebody else can put it? Because I assume my horse is going to be close to the lead, and see how somebody else is going to put it in an uncomfortable position that they see how the horse is going to react. Although he's been, looked like he's done everything really good inside and outside, which seems like he's a much better horse coming from the outside.
It's been 9 years, can you believe it, since Animal Kingdom and your first win in the Kentucky Derby. How much did winning the Derby and then winning another Derby for Todd Pletcher with Always Dreaming change your life?
Well, it didn't change my life very much, but although it puts me on the record, having so much success through my career and not winning the Kentucky Derby, it was definitely missing though. And it's one thing that being a jockey or a trainer or an owner, it gets into you that the Kentucky Derby is one of the most famous races in the world. And not winning it, it's definitely a big miss, if you will, in your record. Actually winning it, riding it for so many years, it takes a little bit of that heavy pressure, if you will, going into Kentucky Derby. But definitely, I mean, it's one of the races that everybody talk about it. Anywhere in the world where you go, and they found out you're a jockey, it's like the first question is how you been in the Derby, and the next question, oh wait, how you won it? So. It's kind of cool now that I can say I won it twice.
Well, hopefully after the first Saturday in September, you can say that you won it 3 times after crossing the wire under the Twin Spires with Authentic. Johnny, always great to catch up, and best of luck to you and Spendthrift Farm and my racehorse stable as you look to secure another Run for the Roses for yourself.
Thank you very much.
All right, Scott Hazelton, Johnny Velazquez, of course, talking a little bit of strategy with today's race. And, a lot can be said as far as where Authentic is drawn. I personally think it's an advantage. Some look to it as a disadvantage. Bob Baffert alluded to the fact earlier in the week he would have preferred to have been further inside, but I think in the end he should be just fine. They're heading to the gate for the Grade 2 Longines Churchill Distaff Turf Mile Stakes. Joe, if as we kind of work our way into the handicapping portion, if it gets a little too much, we'll go back to the social aspect with Hannah, come back to you.
Sounds good. I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
Okay. And Hannah, certainly keep an eye on our feeds and as far as the conversation. I also want to give props to Natus for the video footage to provide through and throughout the week, doing a tremendous job.
Been fantastic.
All right, so don't forget, folks, it's your opportunity. Hashtag My Authentic Derby. This is your chance to win some swag. Send it in, tweet it, retweet it, and you can hashtag My Racehorse or at My Race on social media, and certainly they will reach out to you. All right, so as we heard strategy from John Velasquez, looking at the race today. Joe, I know that you've handicapped, you studied, you put together a ticket from start to finish. How do you see Authentic? How does it shape up? And who do you like?
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm going all My Racehorse, My Authentic Derby, and I'm going to key Authentic on top in an exacta. So I'm going to play 18 over 2, 9, 15, 16, and 17. There's a couple horses there that, I talked about earlier, getting prices. So I played two closers that I simply think are going to have no choice but to take back and hopefully come running. You got Max Player, and then you also got Mr. Big News. Mr. Big News is kind of my bomb horse to try to break it up. Maybe he's more of a horse for a trifecta or superfecta, but I said if I'm playing an exacta, I got to try to create some value. But Authentic being 8-1, if you key him on top, I think you're set. And if we can beat Tiz the Law for second, then you're really creating value there. But even hitting Authentic to Tiz the Law, you're still having value with Authentic winning. And my play with the two long shots, just coming off the pace, sometimes in these races, we kind of briefly touched that we don't think there's a tremendous amount of speed, which we think is great for Authentic. Sometimes in races like that, it does allow those horses that are dead closers to stay more involved in the race. Mr. Big News, for example, he's got one way of going. He's just going to take to the back, and he's going to come with one run. Gabriel Saez, he's riding today, Mr. Big News. The only time they've teamed up together, it was a win. So I'm going to play him underneath, and hopefully he can come up and complete an exacta. But, of course, I had to use Honor AP under there, Tiz the Law, Max Player, and then also New York Traffic. I mean, just coming out of the same race as Authentic, he's kind of a steady grinder type horse, so I think he's one that we could use as well under there.
All right, as you could hear the roar of the crowd in the background, and I want to give a salute to our partners, Slam Dunk Racing, and their partners with the victory in the Grade 2 Longines Churchill Distaff Turf Mile Stakes. That's the second year in a row. Also to our partners in Medallion Racing, who took on a fun ride with the Grade 1 winning Street Band. So very cool to see that. And Manny Franco in the irons. Let's hope that Manny has essentially that's it for him today, right?
Yeah, exactly.
He already peaked.
Get the wins out early.
All right, so well done to Bo Recall. And so, Joe, I love your perspectives on the race. I feel like you that there is some price potential underneath. The one particular horse that I like as a price horse is Major Fed. But the way I've constructed the Superstar Trifecta was that I didn't even put as far as Tiz the Law and Honor AP, I didn't use them in the fourth position. I wanted to save a few dollars. I figured if they're going to stick around, they'll stay around in the trifecta. And then I tried to apply some bombs underneath in the Superstar Trifecta. Major Fed, Joe, you may recall, this is probably 3 or 4 months back. Yeah. I had brought the white horse, and, we'd had some conversation, but never really engaged. Look, he's only a one-time winner. It was a maiden special weight. But he has hit the board in graded stakes events, including finishing second in the Grade 3 Indiana Derby. I just think as far as how the race sets up, I think he has a nice move, and I think he has some upset potential for the exotics. I don't like him as a win candidate. Authentic is clearly my top pick. I feel that this is either you're with him or without him. There's no in between. So I'm far from without him. I'm certainly with him in Authentic. He has done very little wrong. Honor AP, I think, is the most legitimate threat to beat him today, not Tiz the Law. I think Tiz the Law, for me, is going to have to get the right trip. There's a horse that tends to run better outside of horses. So for the others, it's going to be important, not so much to go after Authentic, but to keep Tiz the Law uncomfortable. Kind of keep him off of his feet, so to speak. Because if you let Tiz the Law exhale, get into a stock mode, it's going to be very tough to deny in the end. So Supercharged Fecta, 50-cent cost. I believe you can play those Superfectas for 10 cents, $48. Hannah, as we bring you back in, quickly, I just wanted to show those tickets from both Caleb and Scotty McKeever, who came on earlier this week and joined us with the first show. And do we have those tickets?
I don't believe we have those ready on site. So
Okay, good. Well, we had it in the first show, so if you joined us, both they kind of keyed on Tiz the Law. Scotty McKeever, obviously, hard stand against, which I respect. Scotty mentioned Max Player as being a horse that potentially could pick up some pieces. And if I recall, Caleb had talked about New York Traffic as a potential price play. And I think the other horse that he had discussed was 1,000 Words. So 1,000 Words, by the way, the other spendthrift has a nice sheep pattern coming into this. So, Joe, have you made any bets today, Joe, or are you're just kind of hanging out?
Yeah, I played a little bit. I did play Vertical Threat. I really thought he looked great in the paddock, so I played some tickets to him. But so far, the last couple of races, I've been just enjoying the races from the grandstand.
All right, good. Well, the good news is you should have plenty of bullets to get involved there with the big dance. 146th running of the Kentucky Derby. Hannah, outside of Authentic, do you have one horse that you think could make it tough on us?
you're calling me out. I think I'd have to say Honor AP.
Yeah.
Just liked his past performances coming up to this race as well. So, and of course you can't leave out Tiz the Law, but of course I'm Team Authentic. So hoping for that one.
Well,
and Honor AP is the only horse to have defeated Authentic for what it's worth. Joe?
Yeah, I guess I was just going to ask you a question of your opinion of the race, how it draws up, because really you were worried about Tiz the Law taking it to us first. So where ideally, in your mind, do you see Tiz the Law sitting in this race? Because I agree with you with Honor AP. I thought some other people said that they thought he had more early speed, which I technically didn't think. I think he was going to make the one run, like you said, be sit mid-pack. But I guess where do you see Tiz the Law in this race to Authentic? Because I don't think he's going to want to let him get away. But at the same time, I agree with you. We don't want him to be sitting on our hip the whole race.
No, I think that in reality, now granted, the track has been not so much speed biased as you might see on big days like this, or speed conducive. But I think for Authentic, obviously, if he breaks cleanly and he establishes enough of a lead, let's say 2 or 3 lengths, I don't see 1,000 Words pressing him, because obviously it's part of the same ownership group and same trainer. So that wipes him out. The other speed possibility and probability is Tiz the Law. So, Storm the Court at times has shown good tactical speed, but he's not as quick as Authentic. So I think Tiz the Law is going to let Authentic break, and I think he's going to try and get himself in a position where he can stalk and pounce. Tiz the Law will make the first move. This I know. Whether or not Authentic can resist it, I guess we're going to know here in about 2 hours and 13 minutes. All right. Had an opportunity, of course, to check in with our Hall of Fame rider, speaking with Scott Hazelton. Let's hear from the trainer, Hall of Fame trainer Bob Baffert, looking for his 3rd Kentucky Derby in the last 6 years. And certainly you can hear the quiet confidence in this interview.
Authentic, he shipped really well. He's been known, he's been a little excited. And when I shipped him from San Anita to Del Mar, he got pretty revved up. And when he went to the Haskell for a day there, he's revved up. But here he's been really, really good. So he's maturing, and I really couldn't be happier with him. He's coming in this race, his last work. We just schooled him right now. He is just on it. I mean, he's, I don't like the 17 hole, but he's on it, and so I expect a big effort from him. Well, Johnny V, they're breaking from the top of the stretch, so it's different than breaking at Santa Anita. You're right there. There's a lot of room. when you're in the 17, way on the outside, there's really nothing there. You know, he's won at Del Mar, Santa Anita, wherever you take him, he wins. He's always been a really good feeling horse, and he came in here and he was on his toes, and he didn't get hot. He was a little bit humid when he first got in here. We wet him down. He dried off, and he was fine. But you could tell he's happy and he's enjoying what he's doing, and that's what you want to see at this point. I think it's a great concept. I have a lot of my friends that bought shares. Even I got Walker Bueller and Bodie Miller to buy shares. They're always checking in. How's the big horse doing? So they're excited about it. Got all the Dodgers I know will be rooting for them, and so it's one of those things where I think it's a great idea. You know, people have spent millions and millions of dollars and can't make it this far, and here you are. You're in there for minimal amount of money, and you get to get nervous. You get the thrill of your horse, anticipation. So now the Derby part will really mean a lot more.
Yeah, the percentage of getting a horse to the dance, as we talked earlier today, essentially 20,000 foals will give that a pure number. Only 20 having the ability to get in the starting gate. That one chance opportunity at, of course, for a three-year-olds only in a Derby, in the Kentucky Derby. This being the 146th running of the Kentucky Derby. Well, it's been a tremendous two-part show. And the thing goes on here on My Racehorse Live. Just a reminder, folks, if you haven't already sent it in, Hannah, remind our friends out there in My Racehorse Land what they need to do to potentially have a chance at getting some My Racehorse swag.
Yeah, I swear everyone's going to have dreams about this hashtag. I've talked about it so much, but My Authentic Derby, keep using the hashtag. You have a chance to win some really great items, an authentic horseshoe, exclusive signed photo, and maybe Johnny V's goggles. So like you can see here, this is how everyone's celebrating by using the hashtag on Twitter. Tag us on Instagram, we'll reshare. And we like I said, we just want to see how you're celebrating this amazing Derby experience and with some really great perks available.
All right, Hannah. And also, what to the folks here on My Racehorse Live, what do they have to look forward to the remainder of the afternoon?
Yeah, so we have another great, it's not a live show, perhaps it is live, but it's a chat party. So this is behind the scenes footage of the paddock and walkover, and you can have a chance to chat with your other fellow owners about this Derby experience and kind of, if you have nerves, talk about it on there and just anything conversation-wise. So that'll be, right before the paddock, I would say. So we'll keep an eye on when to start that timing-wise, but stay tuned and you can join that nice chat party.
I love that. It's kind of like interactive watch party video.
Exactly.
And everyone can show their thoughts and perhaps talk about drinks of their choice. I know that I'm literally down to my last. I need to make another drink. That's for sure.
You need a refill. There's no judgment on Derby Day.
We're
all nervous.
I do. And I also wanted to mention, of course, it's been a busy day for My Racehorse and the runners thus far. Looking for a second start off the layoff next out for Wayne O. I know I'll be betting my money. Vertical Threat. He'll regroup, get back here to California. But a bit later today, don't forget, outside of the 146th running of the Kentucky Derby with Authentic, who is currently 9-1, we've got Cairo Kiss returning in Northern California at Golden Gate, and in the central part in Oklahoma with Amandrea to put a stamp on the day. So, Joe Moran, I know that your phone is losing battery life. So tell us in a nutshell your final thoughts on today and your expectation.
Well, I'm just going in it with a clear mind. It's just exciting one. So, it was even when Vertical Threat came in the paddock, I thought I was going to be nervous, coming to see him, but the nerves weren't there. I'm sure when the Derby comes around, I'm going to have a little more nerves. But I'm just, I'm excited. I just want him to have a clean trip and be able to show what he has. And I think that's all we can ask for. I mean, this is Derby Day. We're going to be facing the best other 3-year-olds in September right now. So, obviously, as we all are hoping, I hope we're on the victorious side today and we can be celebrating a big win later. But in the end, I want to see him be able to go out there, try his best, give us a great effort, and have a clean trip. And that's the only way he's going to be able to show his best, in my opinion, is getting that clean trip. So let's hope he breaks good and fingers crossed.
Agreed.
Joe, thank you. Couldn't have said it better myself. Joe, we'll let you get back to work. And of course, I know that we're going to get some scenes in that watch party going forward. But Joe, enjoy the rest of your day. Hopefully I'll be seeing you in the winner's circle here in just a matter of hours. Hannah, your final thoughts on today and what's going through that mind of yours?
I'll just be staying on my phone, checking that hashtag to make sure everyone's using it, and on Instagram tagging us so that I can reshare. And of course, my nerves are kind of here too, so maybe I'll make myself a drink as well and just enjoy this really great Derby experience with my racehorse.
All right. Well, Hannah, thank you. Joe, thank you both for the extra effort. And, of course, to our friends at Grand Slam Social, Natus, and Partners Course Spendthrift, who opened the doors and not only welcomed the opportunity for my racehorse to come aboard on what has been an incredible ride thus far. And in the grand scheme of things, and, of course, hopefully you all take an opportunity to exhale and enjoy the 146th running of the Kentucky Derby. And remember that you are a part of this magical carpet ride known as the Run for the Roses, the greatest 2 minutes in sports. And obviously dreams are being realized not only for you, but for us at My Racehorse. And certainly we couldn't make this happen without you, the fan, and making that experience a next level opportunity. So on that note, I want to wish all of you the best of luck. And of course, the equine athletes, the safest of trips for today's Kentucky Derby, which, looking at the countdown clock, approximately 2 hours, 4 minutes, 9 seconds away. Thank you all very much. And a special salute to behind the scenes Shona, Molly, McKinsey, of course, to my boss, Michael Behrens, and comrade Joe Mishak. This salute's for you. Enjoy the Derby, everyone. Until next
Thanks,
time.
Nick.
We'll be on My Racehorse Live.
Bye, everyone. Good luck.